So everybody, it's Amon here. Welcome back to another one of Versus Battles. This one is going to be very interesting. Always wanted to do this, but I just remembered to go and do it because of the fact that I looked into my idea notebook, aka my notebook set up for all different type of possible things I want to do for YouTube or just in general. And I have a save pad locked in my room just in case I ever run out of ideas or I want to think of something very specific that will be something that you guys will like, hypothetically, like this. I want to go on a tangent for why, but there's some different ideas that I really want to do. Don't come into play because I have multiple different ideas that I put out, or does it come into play? But these are one of the ones that I want to really go and get out because it obviously it's cool, and you see by the time that you see on the screen, I'm recording from a back row computer. And at the same time, from the screen itself, you have Punisher, Death Incarnate, the man that killed the Marvel Universe twice, I'm pretty sure. The man that you grew up into, you're not to worry about. The man that give two fucks about a moral ground. The man loves butchering the unjust, dispatching multiple different people as an armed killer, but has a code that is semblance of considerable truth and reckoning to it, but is one of the most interesting psychological Miss Marvel characters, kind of, I would say. Overall, hold on one second. Let's see, my stomach. Can't even talk because I had something in my throat because of the fact that I was drinking some water because I got very hyped on a video game and my throat kind of sounds a little bit weird. So I'm sorry if some of the cases when I'm talking it might kind of sound a little bit weird, especially I'm talking super fast because the fact this is very exciting for me. But to continue on the point at hand for what I was trying to go in full talk about, I was trying to go ahead and say in full that someone like Punisher is one of the most psychological, misformed characters and not understood in the form of Marvel because some people don't get a full understanding grasp of what he does and the take for what he does and his overarching domain and what he goes about things as a killer. The Punisher is a character that likes to kill people but just paints the criminals as the main prerogative people that he's going after so that all form of blame, all form of defined death that he does is not put in the bad because he'll just try to take the moral high ground and say, oh, killing people that are bad is reasonable, even though he does it multiple times, countless of callous, and sometimes not care. It's just that if you are bad or he feels like you're bad or in the same place of being bad, he does not care. But if you do something for him, or let's say you're like Elektra, who he slept with, went on little dates, and multiple times killed people with, even though he knows not everybody she assassinated was a worthy smell, he still will date her. He still will hang out with bad people, even after some circumstances brutally killing them or at least hurting them, like in the form of Wolverine, Deadpool, Venom himself in the form of Eddie Brock, not Age of Venom. Just a symbiote in general will never have a place of a problem against them, truly, unless it's for a one-time thing. But he's perfectly fine in the midst of different people that are not bad, finally butchering half of them and sometimes injuring others because he doesn't full go out his way and murder people, but he'll go out with a blister of pain in mind for those who deserve it, even though he himself is considered to be doing bad stuff. There's a lot more to the character, and I don't want to go on a super tangent like I said, but with the character facing the other, you have Soldier 76. I love both of these arts with Death Incarnate and a rough beat of hero and a debris of destruction from Soldier to Soldier. One being of a dark past that grew him into the death personified that he is, the mental mori for all the unjust in Marvel. When you hear the Punisher's name, fear overlays a person's soul. Well, Soldier 76 comes from similar background being portrayed, and then through that purging the good semblance of a code out of him and is now being the executioner, jury, and law form person of the streets of the bad and taking people out with a little bit of Captain America smite, but with down and dead might at the same time. Besides that, though, I hope you guys will enjoy the video. I can't wait to go and get into this. Let's go and start. Similar to my Not First Conquest video, this is on my Batlook / computer camera that overlooks it. So if we have the background between some different things, it's just because of that. But I'm going to go full more in depth. We talk about this, and I'm glad I looked at my Padlog notebook to go and peep these ideas. And I'm just glad in general I have all these multiplication ideas that I want to look over. But sometimes I actually had a full look over it, and this isn't just one idea that I looked at. All the case ideas I have planned to get out to you. I will try to get them out. And if I don't, either it's because I forgot, because I have too much stuff to do, or because I don't feel like it's important enough. The same thing, the same answers for why for a long time, even though it was like 2 years, I did not put out the Hellboy versus Doomfist video. Anyway, though, we're gonna go get into this. Let me get a sip of water. With the game that I was talking about as well, that was Elden Ring. It'll be my first boss. Can't wait to go ahead and put it on YouTube eventually when the time comes. Either way, let's go and get into this. I hope you guys will enjoy this, like I said before, especially with everything that I have planned going on. As I proceed to keep dropping bangers, but I just want to say as well, I love y'all and I appreciate all the support that y'all have done for me, and everything that y'all have done is not being looked as down, bad, or not good in any form of sense, because it's kind of weird for me to go and say it. And again, I don't want to go on a tangent. I'm just going to course with it. But I'll say my support is really appreciated. It really is pinned to the heart of mine and knowledge and care, because the fact that what y'all do really helps a brother out, even though it seems like it doesn't hold as much credit, same matter for goodness. But all around, all y'all appreciate it. None of y'all are discarded from my mind of care. And I appreciate every single one of y'all, and all y'all banger. I really do. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get into it and not backdrop. But again, no down form of lightness or not care. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Hopefully we push to get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year and possibly in the 2 months to come. High probability. Not going to happen, but either way, I'm growing my tree and I can't wait to push and blossom with y'all within that journey to grow more. With that being said as well, let's go and fully get into it. So Frank Castle, a.k.a. his real name, he has changed his name back to back for multiple different reasons, for different means of his conduct of doing either soldier work or in the form of him being the Punisher and killing people back to back, doing things in his mind to be good, but truly overarchingly is in the gray line of being straight a murder, but to a safe extent having a reasonable case to be judge, jury, and executioner. But at the same time, the other stuff that's happened with him, iconically within his origins, Frank Castle was a soldier, a great captain at it. He did a great deal of things, dominated different war fronts with his crew, didn't fuck with the lawless, didn't fuck with the disgraceful, and played by the books when he needed to evolve in things in the military. But eventually, is one of his most famous, infamous comics, and we're just doing general Frank Castle isn't already simple enough and so explanatory. But in the comic, wrote by one of, if not the greatest comic writer when it comes down to Punisher, because overarchingly, some of this stuff is a mishaps, and instead of writing are just flat out bad and kind of just overly do edgy for no reason. The boys. But Garth Ennis represented Punisher the greatest in the same effort, the story about how he was fighting back over Vietnam slash the general war backs involving history within soldiers. And so over and again, some other case things. With that being said, he was fighting different people of Vietnamese heritage and stuff. And so in that time of him fighting with them, he saw a bunch of out-of-pocket disgraceful shit. Even one other case where a dude flat out says let's rape a female soldier for no reason. He shoots the female soldier. He shoots other people that are disgraceful out in the back lines when he needs to, because of the fact that obviously he can't be having scumbags within this thing, even though himself has the urge to do it, and he found his calling in between within war. And this is a showcase that at a time when he was coming up being a soldier and going away from his family, he at one point felt scared, felt very nervous and anxious about a case of taking a normal human life like any person. But at the same time, that changed when he fully found his calling. He found his place to be when it came down to be alive. He found that purging the demons of war, in this case, was the best feeling, as he felt more greater as a person and the capability to be able to be who he was. With his family, which later on, after all this warfront stuff, will be killed from being on the sidelines of Smoke being killed because of the fact that this mafia slash case of people, case of people were killing a person out of a gain necessity. You know, he knows too much, he owes money, whatever the case. He's just a more smug, but because of his family being on the sidelines of a park and seeing this, and he must kill them because they can't have anybody knowing or telling anybody of what happened, they get ran on and get spotted, and they get shot up. And Frank is between the crossfires of this, and so with his family dying in between this, either a curse or some magical miracle, somehow Punisher survives his wounds from being a veteran of war and conflict, and he emerges as the wolf that he is, the predator, the Punisher, emerges from the body bag he was in. My man legit came back to life damn near, and it's considered because how he got shot wouldn't go full killing, but legit, like I just said, to reiterate, his family in the park had a dude with a whole fucking minigun came up and just this multi-fired on the motherfuckers, Doom guy like shit, and he got splintered, and everybody else was splattered dead, corpses everywhere. The rest of his family, his wife Lisa, I think maybe that possibly his daughter, I don't know, but his wife, his daughter, and Frank Jr. were all killed except for him, and that was the main calling for it. He loves and misses them, obviously, as any man with his family dying right in front of him. But as a tortured soul and as the Punisher himself, he now pursues all those that are unjust, killers, rapists, murderers, terrorists, the bad of the bad, and he goes out and he punishes them. Now, the thing is, back again to recall within the case of his moral code, he became the Punisher simply because of the fact that he had a calling to kill. Death craved him into this. In between the war with having to deal with scumbags and deal with the most down bad, disgraceful of the grace of God, he found a calling that death was really something that he was personified in. He felt his true calling in life, and when his family died, they were no longer holding him back. He couldn't take out his anger slash his lust to kill people on random people in the streets or cops because he respects them because they're taking orders, and not just some random drug pushers where it's saying instance. He doesn't respect any of them out of pocket people, and he likes cops. He respects the case of veterans, cops where it's saying instance, but he doesn't back up the boo entirely. He doesn't back up the whole cops and everything in their mottos because obviously he disobeys them. He disrupts all form of a soldier's major protocol slash honor because his honor is just being the deputy of death. Again, he's a judge, jury, and executioner. He wears a white skull on his chest, defining memento mori. Every time somebody sees that, as the sign of death itself coming up on you, nigga. Everybody is about to be seeing Casper the Ghost when he's done. He making sure everybody gets to see Tupac in the front line. He making sure everybody knows that he has Black Force energy accompanied. The Punisher is a merciless killer to the baddest of the bad, knows multiple things about weapons, is a hard A veteran when it comes down to saying matter for gun rifle and doing everything so shit. He's a powerhouse when it comes down to some different form of combat specialties. A little same matter for martial arts. Is a marksman tactician. Has been a second line leader when it comes down to same matter for infiltration or just gunware to the Thunderbolts team that he was a part of. And is just a merciless killer that does not take no shit from nobody. He's been able to hang with Deadpool for a little bit, was able to go ahead and shoot up Spider-Man for a second, has great marksman skills, has been to take a lot of his stuff, has been shot, stabbed, damn near clinked in the head with a bullet and still took it fine and kept pushing. He is not superhuman or has any capabilities being a super soldier like Soldier 76, which is one of the cons in this battle, but he has an undoubtable will and he has pressure on himself to keep lustfully killing as he is death incarnate in this case, so he will not fall back or pull back any punches when it comes down to being bloodlusted or being death stone on killing somebody. And in full, Punisher is a very interesting character. Asunto Leone, if I'm even saying his real name, which again was changed the same matter for the military and different protocols for reforming a person into a full hard A soldier. But Frank Castle, all around, is a very cool character within the purpose that he stands for, how he goes about stuff, and all that. And is a very deadline person when it comes down to killing or doing anything by the mark of being the Punisher. He punishes the unjust, and he'll go about all of that shit. And also, as well, before I go to Jack Morrison, aka Soldier 76, to the right, with Punisher, aka Castle, not fucking with the scumbags that were in line with him in the military. He killed a person that was trying to rape the girl because he said he felt like punishing him. Killing multiple Vietnamese, killing the enemy, or even killing the people on his side, like his corrupt captain that was a pervert, disgusting, racist, out of pocket, the personification of down bad, disgraceful people. He was degraded of more of his morality because he didn't feel no qualm about killing those people and was just passively killing them. And if anything, he would just be a little passive aggressive. All his state of compassion or empathy in a war front scenario was gone, dispatched. He took a grade A minigun machine gun and just started unloading on people like Doom Guy. Death possessed this man. Again, one time when he kind of felt chilly about killing somebody, like any general human about taking their own human life, like a person that takes an animal when they first start hunting, or even as any person that has ever possibly killed somebody, there's an affliction of pain or a shock value, but all that was the same. The Punisher became a living aura of death, intimidation, and his runs off of the set of killing. In the Warfront, he felt happy about killing people, and then when he got the capability to be the Punisher, vigilante, slash anti-hero that proudly goes about killing people and will not care who gets in his way to do it, when villains or criminals are the main demographic target, he will not flinch. It will just be dead sight, ding, right to the head. Don't matter. He'll be cocking niggas back to back with the shotgun with no counterback. But besides that, going to Jack Morrison over here, Soldier 76, the Punisher, Captain America of the Overwatch universe. Jack Morrison was a proud veteran soldier, and when it came time for the Omnic Crisis, aka World War III, when he had to go ahead and get infused with his super soldier serum of this universe, he got, hypothetically, by the case of gameplay, different accounts, superhuman strength, durability, sight, better capabilities, awareness, better strength, and a stronger pride than the general human, and has a superhuman same matter capabilities, considerable more pound intellect as a practitioner, and did more stuff, evolving the capability to be a proud soldier. He took on multiple Omnic war fronts in between the fighting of the Omnic Crisis, was a proud veteran when it came down to saying instance of fighting with people out in the warback fronts, and stayed truthful on the same matter for his cause of being a soldier. He was promoted strike commander of Overwatch and was promoted as a proud leader, even getting a statue in his honor. Jack Morrison was accustomed to being the greatest of the greatest heroes when it came to this time, so he did not back down when it come down to pushing out Overwatch. He was the Overwatch 2 heroes. Sorry for y'all a little bit. With that being said, I was fully full save, but Stare my mouth, pause. I don't know why this kind of sounds weird when I full try to articulate what I'm saying, but anyway, the course about what I was saying and not fall back on that. I'm just saying he was a full Overwatch of heroes in the same essence. He hold the mantle what it meant to be a hero, but someone like Gabriel Reyes, the biggest op of probably whatever this game takes place in the fucking 22nd century, damn near, he was the biggest op in decline, being second in command in comparison for the final time because of the fact that someone like Jack Morrison, he felt like got all the better credit for stuff, even though Gabriel Reyes put in more work, he hold it more, he hold better ground to say in essence of being a soldier, a feel like, but it kind of went sideways overall for him, even kind of not, because to go ahead and full explain it, because I want to go ahead and back case on what I'm talking about with the other person, but in the sense of someone like Soldier 76 and what he did at this time, aka Jack Morrison, he got all this stuff by just being the most, how should I say this, probably in Gabriel Reyes' own mind, goody two shoes, because Soldier was a great soldier. Pun intended, simple, self-explanatory. He was someone leadership, and he earned a great deal of value, but he got too much over the credit. He got a statue. He was promoted as leader. He was always put in the front line of being the star-spangled American hero. He was defined as the greatest of the greatest in the state account of being a soldier. But Gabriel Reyes never got none of the recognition, never any count for being good. When he held up Overwatch just as much, he overlooked them, and he got put in the back line having to take care of the Black Ops Ops group, which again isn't full backing out from the case of what he's doing. It's not downgrading or degrading any form of what he has in the account of being a good leader or probable say of means for what he wants to do as a leader. It's just he didn't get placed on the same plate of a grandstand as Jack when he did more, obviously. So it was jealousy at a considerable point, but he will be pushed to the depths of darkness, literally and figuratively, and all goodness of being a hero was purged out of him. You see, Gabriel did illegal slash background experiments with Moria and became Reaper, having the darkness be brought out of him literally in full, being able to desync and deconfigure himself into smoke molecules and regenerate and rewarp to become a literal wraith or reaping during Reaper onto someone. And so with this and being a leader of the Black Watch group, aka the Black Ops team of him, Gabriel Reyes, Cassidy, or McCree, with Moria and Genji Shimada, he eventually would go and start his own uprising against Soldier 76, and in this form of rebellion against them, they would both almost kill each other and both be presumed dead. But we obviously know where Gabriel Reyes will go and become Reaper, a great strike leader and killer and talent that will move up the ranks of being an executioner for them. And Jack Morrison would act dead and reform himself into Soldier 76, a man scarred literally and figuratively of multiple different things, leaving behind everything: his friends, his code of honor, his meaning, even his name, his grave not even actually having a body, and him being destined to be a Punisher now, it seemed like, in the biggest sense, because of the fact of people of this time with no heroes, no good law form was being able to take out the people unjust, the streets plagued with disaster, plagued with misconduct, plagued with nothing but criminals. And so if the law cannot push to get them out of the line of the type of good, then he will do what he needs to as a soldier, as a hero, considerably, to get the job done. So it isn't full rotten to the core of good like Punisher, considerably, even again, I'm not trying to find Punisher as a full bad guy. I'm just saying that with Soldier, his point versus doing it is the fact that sides he needs somebody who's a lot more strict and relentless on the cause. They'll hurt the criminals harder than ever. Make them feel fear as much as they put fear into people. Bringing out the Batman, Captain America means of solemn truth instead of a hero conduct, but then having a Punisher presence in him. So from this, being Soldier 76, he'd be taking out underground bases and people, possibly talent agents, criminals, especially in that one cinematic where he was helping that Mexican girl take out Gang of Los Sotos, a gang that Sombra was affiliated with back over when she was Dorado. Took them out, gave hope to that girl, and gave her a presence of likeness to Soldier as she saw a front hero doing what he needed to do to help people. And in that same instance, that was either kill the people, dispatch them, and prove that there is a hero with just a much greater fear, justful but injustice like state of demeanor and death claw grip on you, to the point where he would go and drive the streets out of his disgustness. In the words of the Punisher, since it smells like a sewer, I'm pretty much being the exterminator of the rats in it. And so back to back, he was eliminating targets and taking out underground places, being the most biggest brothel of a hero that is ready to take out the baddest of the bad out of commission. And so with that being said, Soldier 76 decided to go ahead and push out more and more, to the point where he would be seen by Reaper and almost die, but Anna would go and save him. In between him talking to Anna, he would show a little different thing about him that some people did not know in Overwatch, and obviously the fans would not. And this is the iconic, considerable controversy, the same man for Soldier 76 being turned gay out of nowhere. But for considerable lore, I've already made a video about this all the way in the past, but still technically holds up a tad bit, where even though it was out of nowhere, I feel like just for the case of the concept, it is not full-blown bad, but the purpose for having it could be better evolved. It's just that they pulled it out of nowhere. And I understand if you want to make him a lot more diverse and more than just being a soldier, but his character motive and his purpose, at least from what I see right now, overall, isn't any more unique from what you already made for him. Because just in general, everything I said before I said that is a reasonable character for me to have interest. I'm talking about him as much as I am right now because in some other cases I wouldn't even talk as much. I love both of these characters and I think they're both super in depth. That's why I'm spending my time in fucking 25 minutes in talking about this bitch as much. I'm legit